Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me for the second part of my York City journey. So this morning, in a brief 5-minute video, we'll just look at the squad. I think we looked at briefly at our finances, so we know we don't have much money to go with, and look at the tactics now. As I've said yesterday, my thinking on this is because I'm so used to football being back in the 90s and that's how I like my football. The football scene today seems to be so complicated. I've got within the squad. I've gone for a good old 4-4-2. Now, allegedly, it's a good pick, good option for this team. But we will look at the squad a little bit in depth, and we'll see what we can do to improve the team and the squad. So this team is basically the pick by the assistant manager of the best 11 at the moment. I've had to take out Stockdale, the goalkeeper, because he's out for, I think it was 6 or 7 months. We can look at him in a minute. So this is the main team. But I think what we'll do today, especially, is look at Harris and Koya on the left and right wings, who are allegedly the best players in our squad at the moment. See what their crossing's like, see what their pace is like, and then possibly look at the front two, and see what their attributes are for heading and finishing off, obviously, and all that sort of thing. And see if we can make a bit of a plan going forward there. So if we go to the squad, first, I think the first thing that jumps out really is we have 3 injuries, and they are quite long-term injuries. We've got David Stockdale, that got first choice goalkeeper for York. He's out for between 7 and 9 months, so he's a good long-term injury. Leo Ander, now I recognise that name from playing for my hometown team of Hereford FC. He's played there a couple of times. He's out for 6 to 7 months, so he's another long-term injury. And yeah, as I say, he's been at Hereford a couple of times back in 21-22, and he played 18 games last season before moving to York on a free. So I sort of know the name. I've not watched a lot of Hereford FC since they went out of business. When they used to be Hereford United. So I've only been to a couple of games. It's been hard for me to get involved, but I always look out for the results, and I recognise his name. So we've got 2 long-term injuries there. We've got Scott Barrow, and he's also a 4 to 6 month injury. So we've got 3 long-term injuries, which are not ideal, clearly. But Scott Barrow, he's been at York for 4 years now. This is his 4th year now, 4th season. Last season didn't play any games at all. So I wonder if that's injury or whether that's just because he didn't get a chance to play. So I wonder if we can find out why he didn't play any games last season. You can have a quick look. But say he's out now. He's out for 4 to 6 months. So we can possibly try and find out when he got injured in this one. I should say here, shouldn't it? Yeah. So it ended last season, back in May, and he's out for 4 months last season, so from July to about Christmas time. So he's had a couple of bad injuries there. And in fact, obviously that injury was last May. He's been out for 14 months so far. So when he comes back, we're going to have to look out for him quite a lot and make sure nothing happens. Because without being too harsh, might it be a case of we let him go, because I'm not convinced. Looking at him briefly, he'd be worth keeping. He's out of contract next season, so maybe we can keep him in contract and release him at the end of the season. But if we look at our 2 wingers, let's see where they are. They're down here somewhere, I'm sure. So if we look at Callum Harriott first, he's got, well, I think for confidence, I think he's got some decent stats. I think looking at that briefly, crossing and dribbling, I'm happy with those. I think we might work on his crossing at some point as some sort of individual training, just to see if we can get that for a little bit. Being, what age is he? It must be there somewhere. I'm just being really blind. 29. There you go. So you might be able to improve it a little bit, but it won't be a huge amount. But I think there's something to work with, and his passing is not too bad. I think he'll certainly be okay for this season. We can sort of start the season off with him. And if we go to Mezia Koya, I'm sure I got that wrong probably, so I apologize if I have. Again, very similar to Callum, and his passing's a little bit better. So again, very possibly something to work with. We can see where we go with that. 25-year-old, so again, he's got a bit of room for his to improve. So again, I think if we can look at his crossing, possibly his dribbling a little bit, and maybe we'll do a bit more in depth and see if we can do anything more to him, and see what we can do. So I think there's a couple of decent options there. We can sort of something to work with certainly. And then if we go to Linnell John Lewis, who I thought was a really good player when I saw him live. He doesn't seem to be as great on here as I thought he would be, but you know we can work with him. His heading's decent, so maybe with a straight partner we can use that to our advantage. His vision's decent with a first touch, so you know he's not too bad, and I think he's brave. So I think if nothing, and he's determined, or he's determined, so that should get us a long way, I think. And his strike partner, Deepak Akinimi. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that for the time being. I think, you know, if we can get them into the right places, I think that should, you know, we should be able to work them really. And hopefully, if we can get 15 to 20 goals off each of them this season, and I think we'll be happy. So, before I finish this short video this morning, I think I think it's worth noting my plan for this game, this save will be we'll play the pre-season on perhaps a match-to-match basis. Whether or not you'll be watching that, I don't know yet. And we'll play it up to the end of the transfer window. Once the transfer window finishes, we will then look at doing saves, monthly saves. So we'll let the game go as it goes, and monitor our progress. And I think that's the best way of doing it. So I think for now, as a very brief look at our squad, perhaps tomorrow we'll have a look at those defenders, our goalkeepers, because obviously with David Stockdale out for a long time, we need to think we've got 3 keepers, but are they good enough? And I think at least one of them, if not 2 of them, are youth keepers. Do we need to get maybe a little bit of backup? So yeah, hopefully this is a decent start to the videos, but we can once I get this a bit more understanding what I'm doing, we will do slightly longer videos if I get a chance, and we'll go from there. So thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.